Up with Comrade Fumi Sesi, Chairman, NLC Lagos State Chapter. But before all of that, Labour has always been Oliver Twist. It doesn't matter how good it is or otherwise, Labour will be asking for more rights for workers. And indeed, it wasn't different this year because I guess the theme is that workers need salary increments too. Here's that package.
My struggle, freedom come.
Workers' rights and socio-economic justice is the thrust of this year's International Day of Workers in Nigeria. Workers say their welfare is central to the achievements of socio-economic justice as one of the key indices for national and global sustainability. Former Anambra State Governor for Organized Labor, it is time for government to take deliberate actions to expand and strengthen the nation's social security network. Top on their demands is upward review of workers' salary. Organized Labor also seeks the review of retirement age from 60 to 65 years, as well as the signing into law of the National Research and Innovation Council Bill.
Nigerians and Nigerian workers need evidence of the commitment of the Nigerian leaders to ensuring their safety, their security, their progress, and eventually their liberty. It is only the proof of this that can reconnect the masses and workers with the government.
We call on federal governments to consider the incorporation of transition fuels such as CNG as an addition to currently available energy in Nigeria. The use of compressed natural gas, which is a lot cheaper, can also be long-term alternative to petrol.
For the outgoing president, the last 8 years of his administration have been eventful as it placed priority on the welfare of the workers.
I encourage the incoming administration to continue to respect workers' rights, imbued with socio-economic development and driven by the 4 pillars of decent work agenda.
A time for the Nigerian workers to celebrate, look at the achievements in the last 1 year, as well as the challenges that have bedeviled the Nigerian workforce. As some boost, Joke Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.
Okay, our thanks to Joke Adisa. That was yesterday at Eagle Square. You remember we took a bit of that. We had to leave them at the speeches stage. But now in the fullness of a time, and we can have a report of what exactly the day was all about. It's like Labour does these events. Happy will be the day when it varies from what has gone in the past 4, 5, 6 years. Usually, it's a recurring theme, isn't it?
Absolutely, it has become a recurring decimal that at every commemoration of the International Workers' Day, that is supposed to be a day for reflection on the condition of the workers, that Labour has always, come up like Oliver Twist. That,
but it was a reflection. It was a reflection that the Nigerian worker, according to Labour, maybe according to just about everybody, is not having the best of times.
I don't know of which segment of the Nigerian society is having the best of time, even in the families. We are not having the best of time. Globally, we are not having the best of time. Even if you are in the political space, you recognize that the demands, that you meet with you on a daily basis are one, that could traumatize you and make you go into depression. But be that as it may, in as much as it is within the right of Labour to demand, better working conditions, part of which is better salaries and emoluments. I also believe strongly that it is imperative on Labour to reflect on the socio-economic realities and be realistic that, look, if the present global inflationary trend continues, no matter how much you earn, it will pale to nothing, because those conditions that makes for standard of living, one expects Labour at this point in time, as a new administration is coming in come May 29, that Labour should put on documents detailing those conditions that will make the average worker live a meaningful life. I'm talking in terms of health, I'm talking in terms of infrastructure, I'm talking in terms of I'm talking in terms of education, I'm talking in terms of security, because we have seen that all these factors in a way have limited the environment for labor, such that as of today, we are asking ourselves, one of the cardinal motto of labor is creating wealth. And how do you create wealth when the business economic space is thinning out?
It's constricted.
It's constricting, yeah. So I think that should worry any rational mind.
And, you know, in fact, it's along the line of what I was thinking of, that, look, labor might well have its right to be, you know, asking for more. But the economists have always told us that, look, if you pay more without a corresponding increase in production, in wealth creation, that kind of a thing, it's like a vicious cycle. It just won't work.
Absolutely. Because if we have a buoyant economic space, such that the essence of economy is for you to enlarge your coast, such that we have more industries, we have lower cost of production because we have infrastructure. Because if the factors of production makes the cost of production to be high, no matter what labor gets as a salary or as, you know, wages, we pay to nothing, because the laborer does not eat the cash he or she earns. He takes that cash, gives to the wife goes to the market, go to the school of the children, pay school fees, use it for transportation, use it to pay electricity bills.
All of which expenses keep rising.
Every day.
Every
minute.
You know. But for all of that, you know, the incoming president, he's a mixture of, on the one headline is saying Tinubu promises tough decisions. And by the way, that same paper I'm looking at is The Punch this morning. It's saying that NLC demands a new retirement age. Let's leave that for a moment. We'll come back to that. But Tinubu promises tough decisions. Pay rise coming for health. It's one of the sectors you mentioned. Pay rise coming for health workers, lecturers, and others. You know, initially when this whole pay rise was announced, it seemed as if, for instance, some health workers, you know, bemoaned the fact that, why are they cutting us out? Why aren't we in there? Quite frankly, you never really know. The same thing, this particular event that happened yesterday at Eagle Square, there was a time when the permission that had been granted was withdrawn. But then yesterday, it had been reinstated. You know, so you just don't know where we are. But at least maybe it can be cheering to Labour that the incoming president, that's the president-elect, has said that there will be a pay rise for workers. There will be, in short, there will be a betterment of the condition. But I have to remember that it's been said, I think it was the former emir of Kano, who said that he doesn't admire the next president.
Absolutely.
He doesn't. He doesn't just envy him his job.
This is not, you know, if not that the incoming president, you know, has proved his mettle and has shown the capacity and the capability that he wants to take on this job. I can tell you for free. A lot of us in our private discussions, in our public discussions, we are like, you know,
we think it's an overwhelming task.
It's an overwhelming task that, how can somebody aspire to lead Nigeria at this critical time where the resources of the state is almost at zero level, where all sorts of social ills are rearing their ugly heads, you know, and, you know, you wonder that how do we get out of this? But, you know, knowing the capacity of the incoming president, you know, who will be assuming the reins of power come May 29, one is not in doubt that he knows, you know, his onions. He knows what he wants to do. But like he has rightly said, it have to be made. And those tough decisions are decisions that we as citizens, we have to, you know, divest ourselves of our political, you know, bias and face the reality. That this thing, is it in our best interest in the long run, or is it one that we should play politics with? And I don't think the point at which we are today is one in which we should toy with the economic livelihoods of our people because of politics.
Well, you're calling there even if it is not expressly stated, you're calling on a sense of discipline.
Absolutely.
You're calling for a sense of deferred enjoyment for now, while the right things are done, which might be tough. Let me see if I can connect with Comrade Fumi Sesi, chair of NLC Lagos State Chapter. She actually is supposed to be joining us, but I think she's hooked in traffic. But being a woman of timber and caliber, even as she is on her way, she has offered that, look, maybe I could join you guys by Zoom, pending when I get to my destination, so I'm not absent all through. Comrade Fumi Sesi, can you hear us?
Yes, please. Good morning, Mr. Yori Folarin.
Good morning, ma'am. Madam Comrade, fine morning to you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
And happy Workers' Day to all workers in Lagos, in Nigeria.
Indeed. Well, the workers are asking for more, and we were just saying in studio that it's understandable that they are working for more, they're asking for more, but in an environment where production is what it is, if if the business environment is constricted as it is so that people can't grow the economy, and then asking for more, how is that going to work, comrade?
Well, Nigeria, as it is being designed currently, we have drifted drastically away from producing a country to consuming country. And most of the enterprise that we are doing now is in the public service. So it's like what we are doing is sharing of the commonwealth of the country. So rather than being a producing country, we are highly a consuming country, and the government is subsidizing heavily and paying for this anomaly. So it's not out of place for the workers who are, more of the workers are in the public service to ask.
Indeed, okay.
Benefit that is a little the United Kingdom, even upon as we rate them to have a living wage. Right now, they are still protesting and they are still asking for more. So, for us, even here where the minimum wage is equivalent of $40, we need to ask for a living wage.
Okay, yeah, I get that. How about, maybe I should take your comments on the ball that has been kicked down the road, so to speak. I'm talking about a withdrawal of, subsidy on petroleum and all of that. This has now been, left to the incoming administration. Is it like postponing the day that we all cannot escape?
Well, I think it is long overdue for the subsidy to be removed. Before it was the workers, the labor centers that were craving that the subsidy should not be removed because of the antecedent stress and the issues that will arise from it, most especially the financial implication of the subsidy removal on our spendings. But now, we have seen it that even this subsidy, it has failed us because nobody could be, even the government cannot explain easily how, what, and how much the PMS they are subsidizing on, and so many other questions that begs for answer. And we look at it like it is a corruption bed for this subsidy to continue, and it's like a wastages on the part of the government. We look at it that if the government can now use the resources that they are pushing on the subsidy, because subsidy cannot continue for life, and some people will be smiling to the bank. Even to the best of our knowledge, some of these marketers are phony marketers that we believe they are not there, but they are just like a ghost marketers benefiting from this subsidy. But when the government stops it, like all the monies that have been spent on subsidy for years, if the resources have been put together and ensure the maintenance turnaround of our refineries, the 4 refineries, we could have been better for it.
Indeed.
And those monies spent on subsidy could have been used to provide infrastructural facilities like the road networks to maintain it, like other facilities to advance the course of educational sector, the health sector, and all others, rather than spending this money on frivolities, we can call it. And also, it berates the status of this country as one of the highest producing nation in crude, and yet we remain the only country where we still push outside to refine it and bring it back in a high currency, that is in dollar rate. You know, to us in labor, we need a total shift from this. We don't want people to still corruptly enrich themselves. We don't need people to not to be sincere with the project Nigeria. So if it is for the good cause,
indeed. Okay then.
Challenges.
Okay.
Even with the new administration.
Okay.
But before the new administration, we take some certain decisions. Let's see the reasons why some certain things need to be done. You know, so by carrying us along, all of us will be in it together. But for like another that says, don't shave one set behind his back. So the workers need to know the kind of challenges ahead, the policies of the incoming administration, so that they can also buy into it once they know about it.
All right then. Okay, comrade. And you know, comrade. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned it, comrade Sesi. Comrade Nelson Ekujime, a human rights activist, is in studio. In case you're not able to see us, hope we can see you. You know, in addition to hearing your voice very shortly, as soon as you get to your destination. You know, along the lines of what she was talking about and all those needs, I guess you can't really but, you know, share Labour's perhaps excitement. There's trepidation, but there also no doubt will be excitement. Renewed hope is what the incoming president has, you know, run on, you know, renewed hope. Things have been quite challenging, and they continue to be so. In fact, the Edo State Governor Obaseki was saying salary payment will be difficult from June. According to him, he was addressing, you know, his citizens. So you see, there are all of these challenges. The incoming president, the president-elect, being a man of vast experience, and he's aware of what's going on. He's also aware of the expectations, which are very, very, very high. I hope not too high, because we might have a situation where people are so excited, they think that this incoming administration is going to sort all our problems out in the blink of an eye, which is not going to be the case. It just doesn't work like that.
Well, the truth of the matter is that as we speak, we cannot not run away from the fact that the present administration, the outgoing administration, must be given, you know, a pat on the back. Why do I say this? This is an administration that, when it came into office, the revenue, the mainstay of the economy, you know, was at its lowest ebb, and even with that, the government inherited a lot of debts, such that even states...
Thank you for bringing that into focus, because I was going to go to the debt that the government has inherited and has also initiated its own.
And you recognize that the federal government was able to, you know, bail out states that were almost going insolvent, you know, that couldn't fulfill their financial obligations to their workers. You know, but be that as it may, it is expected that the incoming president-elect and his team, with the experience, with his capability that he exhibited while in the private sector, which he transmitted, you know, to office when he became the civilian governor of Lagos State for 8 years with what he did. Don't also forget that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you know, was a governor who was able to sustain his state without federal allocation for almost 2 years.
That's right.
And even as at that, he also went ahead, you know, to create more jobs with the creation of, additional 37 local governments. That is creating jobs in the public sector.
So there's much to be expected, and there's much in evidence also that he can probably draw from. But let me quickly bring in Mazi Okorafor, who has come on the line, so we don't keep him waiting for too long. Good morning to you, Mazi.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, I guess.
Good morning.
Sir, honestly speaking, thank God that yesterday was Workers' Day. Now, you see, Nigerian workers are suffering a lot. No training to meet up the digital era. You ask yourself how many government establishments have been training their workers. Promotion is not there. Somebody will stay on a position just for one start, for good 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For what? At least as a civil servant, after 3 years, or not only to even participate anywhere, you are due for promotion. But it doesn't happen. So there is need for government to make sure that all these things happen so that you stop this issue of people, not a question of Japa or not Japa, or people abandoning government work and looking for private sector and just retiring before they are due. Transportation is very, very important. Now you are paying somebody 30,000 naira. If so I pay 18,000, at least 70% of states are paying 18,000. Just very few percent, just 25 are just paying 30,000. Now if you are paying somebody, and the person is spending 20, maybe you are paying that, is spending 15,000 naira transportation. How much is left? So there is need for government to make transportation available. Now I ask myself, in those days, 70s and 80s and 90s, there were government buses, staff buses that used to carry people. What is happening now? Is it that the manufacturers are not producing, or there is no money to go there, or they don't have drivers to handle such systems, which is very, very important. Government has to look at the incoming government. I know incoming government, they are not going to perform miracle. Anybody open for miracle by this, it's not because miracle follows stage by stage. Stage 1 to Z. Now, invention and creativity is something that government should look into. Honestly speaking, in Abia State, workers have not been paid for 21 or 18 or 17 months. Salary, not to talk about pension. My elder brother has not been paid. The wife, not my elder sister, my friend, the same thing. So of them, 20 months, 30 months, 18 months. Now you start asking yourself, all this money they rush to collect from Abuja, what are they doing with it? To go and acquire wealth and be preparing houses and property for their children yet unborn. Well, they're supposed to call a lot of nemesis. Continue acquiring. At the end of the day, that's where they are going to see. And the last thing that is there, please, anybody that is above 70, 60, you are due to retire. Don't go and falsify your age as a bobo or baby shishi so that you stay in the office. Doing that now, you are blocking roads for young graduates to come to the office. Johnny speaking. Honestly, it's not. I see the dichotomy between BSc and HND. It's still hanging. It's still hanging.
All right then.
Old men, leave the office. Old men, old mama, leave the office. You see, if you like go and paint your face with the old makeup in the market, you are just waiting, you are old.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mazi, for calling in. You see, there's a paradox here. Let's go to break. Let's go to break. And stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
Coming up in the month of May, the 1st is International Workers' Day, the 3rd is World Press Freedom Day, on the 5th is the 13th anniversary of President Yar'Adua's demise in 2010, while from 12th to 16th of May are days dedicated as United Nations Global Road Safety Week. The 16th of May is International Day of the Boy Child. World Hypertension Day is on the 17th, and on the 27th is Children's Day. 29th of May is Nigeria's Inauguration Day, the commencement of a new 4-year tenure of another administration. On the 31st is World No Tobacco Day. Brace yourself and tune in to TVC News for special reports and analysis on these days.
Okay, welcome back, and we got Comrade Fumi Sesi. She's with us remotely. Actually, she was supposed to be with us. This is not radio, but rather not have her at all. We thank you, Comrade Fumi Sesi, that you're pulling out all the stops to still be on the program. Comrade Fumi Sesi is chair of the Lagos State chapter of NLC. And in studio, we have Nelson Ekujimi, human rights activist. So I was coming to you, Comrade. You know, there's this whole... Maybe you heard everything that Mazi Okorafor was saying, and all sorts of devices. Workers are so desperate that I don't think he's the person alleging it. It's a well-known fact. People get up to tricks, and so he's admonishing people, say, look, can you please go away and stop debarring your grandchildren from entering into the service? Well, what I want to bring out of this is the kind of wages that workers are paid. You wonder how they are able to manage from one payday to the next. And maybe you want to connect this with, at that event yesterday, halt last-minute looting labor urged Buhari. Maybe it was just appealing to Buhari that please don't let it happen. People going, you know, that whole route about, well, we're leaving, so let's see as much as we can grab. First of all, what do you think of those kind of notions? Do you think they're real?
Number one, I heard some of the things that he said about the workers. I might not say that that notion is totally wrong, because I've had it, but I, on my own, integrity matters. I've had it where there are some allegations against few workers who have doctored and changed their age for some obvious reasons. You know, in this part of the world where we are, we place priority on things that are not so necessary. In America, they don't attach age to your ability, to what you can offer. Age is not a barrier to you getting a job that you so desire. But in Nigeria, if you want to get a job in places like bank or some other, even government employment, you should not get to a certain age. And in most of these instances, is it the problem with the person that has aged before getting work? You graduated from university in good time, in good age, and you start searching for a job. So in America, either you are old, and so far you still have the ability, even in the United Kingdom, you continue to offer your quality services. So if we can desist from doing that in Nigeria, probably.
Okay. Now, the other question I wanted to bring to you, it's all right for us to be talking about inefficiencies in government, but one recalls that there was a time when labor, you know, buses were released to labor.
Age of maybe 28 years of age that you can get a job in the bank. Some of them will now doctor their age and they will turn it back to 28 so that they can fit into that status. But I'm not saying this is what happens, but I've had it.
Okay.
It has never happened to me, and I can never do such.
Okay. Now, how about those labor buses? Remember?
You know, he said so many things about Buhari administration to some extent.
Comrade, can you hear me? Can you hear me, comrade?
I can hear you.
Okay. I wanted to go to labor and accountability vis-a-vis the labor buses.
Okay.
Those buses, you don't see very many. You don't see them. You don't see them. What? Can you tell us what's going on? Because on the one hand, Government might be accused of inefficiencies, but how about labor itself? What happened to the sort of transport situation?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All these labor buses, they were acquired.
I'm going to have to put that question to her again because we lost her.
Buses that are owned by government.
Okay.
And these labor buses, they don't give them preference on those preferred road for government buses. They ply that road with all other vehicles on the way, and then making it very difficult. And you know, our Nigerians, they want to get to their places of work on time. So, like BRT and some other roads, special road, they are moving without any hindrances. But our own city, Lagos city buses, there are hindrances. And when there is a traffic, the buses are stuck in traffic. But people want to get to their destination on time. Then secondly is wear and tear. The wear and tear of all this long journey stress, the engine working long hours, and all those ones are there. Then another issue that we also have to look at is when all these buses are being used, the maintenance, those original parts, are they available in the country? Many things has gone wrong in this nation. And I believe, and I want to appeal to the incoming administration to look into all areas of the sector so that Nigeria can have a better deal.
Okay.
The parts, most of the time when there is any fault, they have to now order from the source, that's from China. And they wait as much as 6 months, sometimes, before this part is being shipped down to Nigeria. And sometimes they have to wait to get this currency, the foreign currency. And if you go to central bank, how will you get the currency? You'll be asked to go to black market. There are so much of impediment. It's not talking about accountability on that part, but we are talking about, you know, those situations that causes impediments in the operation.
Okay, okay, comrade. Let me come to Comrade Kujimi in our studio. Now, that explanation there, it occurred to me that it sounds remotely a bit like things that government itself would say when people like you and Labour, you know, put allegations before government. Very much their own version of what Comrade Sesi has just said. That, look, you can't believe the number of impediments that are, you know, quite frankly, preventing us from, you know, achieving our goal.
Explanation does not resonate with me, I must confess to you. Because we have a lot of private transportation company that even as a young boy when I was growing up, and today I'm almost at the verge of becoming a grandfather, those private transportation companies are still in existence and they are thriving very well. And even new ones are coming on stream. You want to ask, if for example I've opened an office, does it not make sense for me to have, you know, space for my machine such that whenever there's breakdown, I can quickly, replace the parts? Must I have to wait until a vehicle, or we are not talking about one vehicle. So you're talking talking about a fleet of vehicles.
So you're talking about running that particular operation efficiently.
Absolutely. Because we're talking about efficiency. If we are accusing the government, a lot of times I tell people, we are a people that, you know, preach what we don't practice. We preach what we don't practice. We are talking about inefficiency.
Yes.
You go to some institutions, somebody is employed, not even government establishment. Somebody is employed to perform a task. He gets to the office, the next thing he does is to start playing with his or her phone. I've had situations where I've gone to banks to make, you know, transactions, and you see, in fact, when I was coming here this morning, on approaching the gatesman and his colleague were just laughing at each other, and I was pressing my own, and I was looking at them, and I was like, are you employed to laugh with one another or to do your job? You don't have to keep me waiting here even for a second. Immediately I press my own and you realize I'm there. You should come to me and ask me, please, where are you going to? Who do you want to see?
So you're going to something that is also a very important subject. How productive, give me your response, how productive is the Nigerian worker or actually? It's one thing to people and office. If we have 100 people in an office, just for the sake of talking, yeah, that looks good if every last one of them is actually earning his keep.
Yeah.
If, on the other hand, it is not exactly the case, people are just in there, and I don't know, maybe it happens all over the world. Can we do anything about that?
It doesn't happen all over the world, I disagree. Because a lot of us have experiences with, our relatives or our friends.
So if a person is going to be superfluous, then he's not taking on.
Absolutely.
You don't allow it to happen.
Yes. And, we've had situations where you call a friend who is working somewhere outside the shores of this land, and the next thing he tells you is that, please, I'm on duty now. Allow me to close. I'll talk to you when I get home.
No, it's an offense, quote unquote, in some workplaces. Maybe not here. You can't be answering personal calls when you're
paid. Yeah, and again, it brings to mind, I recollect watching the Nigerian Economic Summit group of the presidential candidates pre the February 28th presidential elections. And one of the things that the incoming president spoke about, that resonated with some of us, is that he talked about moral regeneration. We have lost our values.
Well, let me, Comrade Sese, I'm coming to you, but let me stop by and pick up Mr. George's call. Mr. George has called in from Ikeja. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. Good morning to Mr. Kujeme and to the lady comrade, the NLC chairman in Lagos. Uncle Yori, I have no issue with workers being appropriately paid. They need to have living wages. I agree with that totally. But what I'm saying, in continuation of what I said yesterday, where there is a taking, there must be a giving. The workers also have to partake in the integrity of output. What do I mean? What do they give to the system from which they expect so much? I'm happy that somebody like Joe Ajero is the new NLC president. From what I know of his antecedents, he's somebody that doesn't tolerate some bad things. The labor needs to be a helper to the government. Let me give you one or two instances. Budget padding is done by civil servants. And budget padding is one of the things of the failure of our budget. If a contract is to be executed with 2 billion, they will pad it to make it 10 billion. 10 billion will leave the government coffers. Even the 2 billion that is meant to carry out the contract will still not be carried out appropriately. And see how much money we lose in oil theft. It's Pengasin and TUC telling us that they are not aware that workers in the high seas know how those oil is being stolen. They know what has been their position. They should go beyond what I'm saying, Uncle Yori. Labor should go beyond just asking for pay. They should also help the government of our country to succeed. A new government needs money to carry them out. If leakages are not blocked, you won't be able to get that money. And labor is the only one that can help to block leakages.
Okay, I want to thank you, Mr. George. Thank you, Mr. George, for calling in, because I want to take it quite hot as it is to Comrade Funmi Sesi. Comrade Sesi? Comrade Sesi?
Please, thank you. Let me... Yes, I'm here, sir.
Okay.
I am here, Mr. Yori, for line.
Okay, if you heard...
Yes,
you heard that caller. And you heard that caller, yes. And his thrust was that he doesn't...
He talked about padding of Hello?
Okay. Did you hear the thrust of that call, which is that the workers themselves, we the workers, how well do we consider that we are doing in assisting those leaders by our own conduct, our own efficiency, our own, just being as industrious as we can? The dire allegation in his submission was that the worker hasn't given up as much as he could to actually better our lot.
Okay. The first speaker, he still made allegations that he couldn't believe or he couldn't trust all what I said about the city transport.
That's Comrade Kujimi in studio.
Yes, please, let me start from there. Labour City Transport is not to make gain. It's not to make gain. It's not to make money. We're using it to assist and to transport workers to their places of work. So therefore, when government buses are taking people for 500, the Labour City Transport takes people for 100 naira. So get that right. We are not using it to make money. We are using it to help workers. So for that reason, there are so many reasons. It's also one of the factors that are making our vehicles to break down without us being able to revamp it and all those other things I said earlier. Okay, now let me go to the second speaker that talked about workers being also assisting and aiding and abetting corruption and corrupt tendencies and all sorts. Yes, I am not going to say it is not true, because out of the disciples of Jesus Christ, you see Judas Iscariot. So, as you have the bad ones, you will also have those ones who are self-centered, who are not contented, who if we want to, we should not recruit workers through the back door. Let us continue to recruit workers based on merit. Most of these people that are in the workforce, that are doing it, they were brought in by those who are using them for illicit things that he mentioned. If you see workers who are true and diligent to their work, and who are pledged on oath to ensure that the government work goes without all this corruption.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. So and it really relates to public service workers. And you know, there's the thought, although I'm not too sure. There's the thought that there's a lot of padding going on, even in the way people come into government as a worker, because that's the national cake. So whether or not there is anything...
Good leadership. To see the peoples from the leaders, I am telling you, in the past,
I think Comrade Sesi is in a moving vehicle, therefore the sound is drifting in and out. It's making it a bit difficult because sometimes I think she has kept quiet, but she just drifted out, and she's actually speaking. So she didn't hear what I was saying. So, Comrade, I don't know, can you hear me now? No, okay. There still is that challenge. There's a sense in which we have to be thankful to Comrade Sesi because she was not going to be able to make it at all. She had been scheduled, so rather than not declare a no-show, she's done this second best.
That was very good of her.
Yes. But she explained that bit about don't try to accuse us in labor. We are not in there for business. But then I would say that And now you went in there not for business, and now the whole thing has collapsed. And so where are we? Are we better off or worse off? Because we're certainly not in the same place.
Absolutely. Because if you have brought up a system to help the workers, and you don't have a system in place, to sustain it, the question we should ask: why do you come with that system at all? So for me, exactly. I'm not comfortable with with the explanation. But
Mr. Lukman in Ghana, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning to your guest. Thank you, sir. Yeah. My contribution is all about the Nigerian Labour Congress should try to help the incoming government. They should not be demanding at all times. Nigeria is not that poor. In Ghana, their minimum wage is 20,000 naira. When you convert their money to Nigeria, it's 20,000 naira. They buy fuel for 900 naira. The dollar exchange rate is 850 naira. The inflation in Ghana is 45% compared to Nigeria, 21%. So Nigerians Labour Congress should not think that their situations are terrible. If they could help the incoming government, if they succeed, their salary as well will increase. Like what Mr. George said, the most corrupt people in Nigeria are civil servants. And they also should clean their side before they will be demanding for more money. We have in Canada that we saw where doctors are saying what they are paying them is too much. So if you want a better welfare, the NLC as well should take care of the system, help the government. They should not prevent the government from removing subsidy, because there's nowhere we are going to get money to do all those things if we don't remove subsidy. So that's my view. I wish them happy Workers' Day.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Indeed. And I think even though it's a belated wish, they had a happy Workers' Day, but we're still greeting each other happy Workers' Day. Comrade Ceci, can you hear now?
Please, I can hear.
Okay. Did you want to react to that? Look, there's a sense in which we become used to NLC being an Oliver Twist on our behalf, but you just heard somebody from Ghana compare some basic stats and say that actually things are tougher in Ghana, yet it doesn't show the way it shows in Nigeria here. Maybe he's implying that workers over there are much more purposeful, perhaps.
Well, he couldn't have said that, because in Nigeria too, the workers are tilling the ground, and they are also very, 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 very purposeful as well here. But what we are saying is that the government should, the incoming administration should reduce corruption, because if you don't reduce corruption, that is why we also have even some of our youth. Even though, let us go to the workers now. Let us talk about some of these youths now that are doing Yahoo or all sorts. It's because of the kind of way politicians and those that are in government, some of them in the high places, they flaunt wealth. In Ghana, I don't think such happens. Okay. But in Nigeria, those who flaunt wealth, those who corruptly enrich themselves, the wealth of this nation is in the pocket of few. It should be spread across board for everybody. The salary, the rep be on salary. Let everybody be on salary, so that all of us will know that we are all putting all our effort to ensure that the government survive, and the project Nigeria is for everyone.
The Minister of Labour just announced on a television program the other day that his salary is 900,000 odd. You know, a paltry, as he put it, his paltry salary, and you look at any other minister, that's what it is. It's a paltry 900,000 naira plus. But, you know, of course, I didn't expect you to respond to that. I just wanted to put things in perspective, Comrade Ceci. But let me end up with the comrade in studio.
Please, I want to inform that it is not appropriate for us to scapegoat people because we want to advance a position. Yahoo, utilization of a child. And like they always tell us when we're growing up, rántí ọmọ ẹni tí ìwọ ń ṣe.
Okay.
My father never told me that, oh, one man has 20 cars over there. No! My father always tell me, remember the house from which you are coming from.
But this is not exactly labor, but it's also because it's a human being.
Yes, human being, no. Our
Somebody's
values,
child,
yes.
Somebody's
yes, you can't say because you see people stealing outside, you say it's encouraging our young ones to become Yahoo. What sort of training have you given your children?
Okay.
Because your children today will become adults tomorrow.
All right, then. We're going to have to leave it here. Comrade Sesi, last word to you. Very, very brief last word.
Okay. I can hear you. Mr. Yori Folarin, please go ahead.
I was thanking you. I was thanking you for, all your efforts in coming on the Workers' Day into the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, then. And also, thank you very much, Comrade Nelson Ekujimi.
Happy Workers' Day to Nigerians.
Indeed. Happy Workers' Day to Nigerians. And that's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.
Following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Do you struggle with having an active and healthy lifestyle due to your busy schedule? Do you find it's difficult to make it to the gym? You want to improve your overall health, but don't know where and how to start? Medical experts agree that walking, running, and jogging are amongst the best ways to stay fit and enjoy a great active and healthy lifestyle. What if there was a convenient and affordable way to improve your health, improve your mood, and lose weight right in your own home? Introducing the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill. The compact foldable treadmill that makes being active and losing weight fast and easy. Just unfold it and walk, jog, or run while you watch your favorite programs on TV. And when you're done, just fold it and store it away. Now that's convenience. The secret is its advanced design that houses a 1-horsepower motor that is twice the size of most treadmills, packed into a nice compact unit, powering every step you take. You get the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill System complete with a rugged commercial-grade ultra-durable traction belt, large LCD multifunctional display that displays speed, time, distance, calories, and has 12 different exercise programs, as well as a magnetic safety key for added security.
The Sport's compact and can fit anywhere in the house. And when I'm done, I fold and put it away. Easy peasy.
This is the best piece of equipment for people like me who want to stay active without leaving the home. I simply unfold it and use it while I watch my favorite program on TV.
Joining a gym can cost an absolute fortune, and you could be paying up to 600,000 naira in annual